Everyone, and welcome back to Episode Club. Today we are going to be talking a brand new series for Episode Club. We are going to be talking about Stranger Things in the catch-up for its season 3 premiere. And joining me today is no stranger to Episode Club, Johnny. Introduce yourself to the lovely people who are in the chat with us today.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Johnny B. Crazy, and I'm so excited to be. What's going on? I'm pretty excited to be here. No, the Demogorgon is the stranger of the Stranger Things. He gave some folks some candy. Will Byers accepted the candy. Also, Barb, the cock block Barb, had what's coming to her, I guess, maybe. Or you can argue Nancy was just a little bit selfish in this aspect. But we'll talk about that, and definitely cover Steve's hair because I have none. We have to talk about those things. Yeah, sure, whatever. Let's just talk about it. Hope everybody's having a good day.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to be talking about episode or chapter 1 and 2. And sometime this weekend, probably Saturday mid-afternoon, we'll be talking 3 and 4, and so on and so forth. We're going to be doing 2 episodes per episode of Episode Club. Just so because of that, then we're in line for pretty much finishing right before the new season drops on July 4th. But before we do that, let's say hi to the people in the chat. So we have Peter Griffin, Dornish Swench, Linda Smith, Danny McKay, Fandom D Saint, Linda R, Septicine the Secrets, some person named Johnny Be Crazy. I don't know who he is. And
Just some dude. He's probably an asshole.
And Katrina Torres. We have so many great people in the chat. So we can kind of just talk about, because I know we did this in the very beginning with Game of Thrones, but what was your experience with Stranger Things? Did you watch it when it first came out, or were you a late person?
I was a semi-late person. I saw the second season when it first came out, but the first season I had to catch later. Didn't have Netflix or access to it. It's as being a poor person per se. It took a while to get internet access to things. If a bunch of you don't know, I didn't even have internet for 10 years before I started my YouTube channel. So this is all me on the fly. So cut me a little slack sometimes is all I got to say. But no, when I saw the previews of it, I wanted to see it. It reminded me of the Goonies. It reminded me of yesteryear. Even Lost Boys a little bit. There's a lot there, taking it back to the nostalgia of the 80s. And when I first saw it, man, I immediately fell in love. The actors are brilliant. You have the fantasy sci-fi aspect, but it's not overdone the same way it's not overdone with When We Love Thrones and what Empire of Ash will be. I have to do a shout out. So Friday we figured we're going to talk about the Game of Thrones prequel, which I think is the best. The series Bible has been leaked. Go check out The Dragon Demands if you haven't already. We'll be talking about the Empire of Ash and whatever. We'll talk about that later because there's a lot. Just get really excited about that. As far as Stranger Things goes, yeah, like I said, with the whole nostalgia and everything about it, plus the acting is spot on. The musical score is great. Baptiste would love it if he'd ever give it a chance. I'll spank him.
I think so. And yeah, everybody go tell John to watch this because, you'd love it. For me, I started to watch this January, February. I was going to plan on doing reactions, but then I heard Netflix is very weird with stuff like that. It's not like Game of Thrones. So I have one. I'll probably put it up, but I didn't record any of them afterwards. But yeah, I started watching it one episode, I think in February, but then when we had to do basically a lightning round with all of the episodes of Game of Thrones, I kind of just put it to the back burner because we also had to watch Battlestar Galactica and so on and so forth. So within the last week and a half, I've kind of caught up, more or less, so to speak, so we could do this today. So let's get right into it. So the first episode we're going to be talking today is the first episode, or Chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers, and it starts off November 6th, 1983, in Hawkins, Indiana. And we basically see the Department of Energy, or the Hawkins National Library, and something creepy is abounding in Hawkins before we're introduced to pretty much our four main characters. So, what do you think about the creepy crawlies that lie in Hawkins, Indiana, Johnny?
Oh, what do I think about it? The creepy crawlies. I don't know if. Well, I'll give you a spoiler. Whatever. The little world's called the Upside Down. I think you already know that, so it's not really a spoiler. Uh, what do I think about it without giving any teasers away to Sasa, who is a first-time watcher, by the way, if y'all don't know. It's interesting, a gateway to another dimension. Creepy crawlies is a term for it, but it's almost hard to think of a a word to fit it. But I do like it. It's nice and dark and super foreboding. And then you have kids having to deal with this, but not only kids. You have to. You're right there along with the adults and the teenagers. So it's almost every single step of life. And baby Holly, so cute.
Yeah, you have the youngest to kind of the like parent age. You don't really have like grandparents necessarily dealing with this, but yeah. My kind of first like thought about this is because I'm not really a scary movie kind of person. You can even ask Johnny. Um, so I was like, oh, when I first like figured out that it was like something took the guy, the scientist in the lab, I was like, ooh. Um, but I knew it wasn't going to be too scary because I knew a lot of people loved it. But yeah, and then we obviously meet Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will, who are playing Dungeons and Dragons, which I've never played it. But I think it's kind of like what hints to come with this, especially later in this episode, or in this season, so to speak, with the whole Demogorgon. Um, and yeah, they will pretty much have to go home for dinner and get Will and kind of his experience going home.
So do you think the It Clown or Pennywise will come out soon?
I mean,
We all float down here. Danny McKay. Pew pew. Sorry I missed you in the chat there, bro. Don't make me finger gun you. Sasuke. What the hell, man? What the hell?
you haven't seen
By and
Stand-
by. Come on, Sasuke. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so we get them playing D&D or Dungeons and Dragons. And then yeah, they have to go they'll all have to go home because it's dinner time. And they play a race for a comic book, but obviously no one wins said comic book in the end. The Will just kind of goes on his like weird, creepy. I don't know, Johnny. What do you think about like with the four boys that we get introduced to?
I have no comments about four boys. I don't know what you're trying to set me up for here, but
I mean, the characters.
a little bit of separation. No, I mean they left Will basically. Long story short, and this has repercussions, of course, and you're gonna have survivor's guilt, which we see already. Not saying he's dead, but with the shed, it does. Someone in here, was it Dornish Winch? It was Dornish Winch or Katrina Torres that said it reminded her of E.T. and like Baby Holly did. But then now that you think about this, with the shed and everything, it's just like E.T. with Elliot going in the shed, but this time the Demogorgon gets Elliot. What the hell, right? So, this is just like the sick and twisted version of E.T. If you watch this show, you'll see every classic '80s movie in there, weaved within it. Oh, must have been Dornish Winch. Not me. Katrina Dor. Sorry.
Yeah, we have
What's up, Eleanor?
yeah, so we get Will disappearing, and again, the creepy thing is now escaped. The creepy thing. What could probably be the Demogorgon has escaped the laboratory and is now out for little kids, which is just creepy. And then we meet everybody's favorite, Joyce, aka Winona Ryder, and aka Will's mom, and Jonathan, and they're unable to find him.
Did you say something? Oh, yeah. My creepy cousin, Jonathan.
And Winona Ryder, everybody's favorite. And basically, Will's not been seen by any parent or anybody. So yeah, the kids go to school like normal, and we meet Nancy and and Steve, who's one of your favorite characters, Johnny. I think
I
based
don't
off
know
of
if he's one of my favorite characters, but Steve's here has a life of its own. And little known fact, the Demogorgon is Steve's uncle, Steve Sr. I'll get into that later with my conspiracy theory on the Demogorgon really just being old petty. But but no, Steve's one of your complicated characters, a teen caught up in the cultural society and everything that it means, like that plastic world, but you're trying to fight it because he may or may not be a decent dude. We'll see. Whatever. I can't talk too much because
you can.
whatever. It just goes through everything a lot of people have to go through. You get with certain friends. If your friends don't approve of a person, and that doesn't skew your vision, but that could determine whether you talk to that person or not. Even if you like them or think they're okay people, you'll not talk to them due to social standards. And we still see that with adults. Is what it is. Whatever floats your boat, right?
Yeah,
Or something.
and it seems like Steve is supposed to be like the popular guy, but he doesn't have many friends, so to speak. He's like the popular guy almost, because we have Nancy, who's obviously the nerd girl, so you have that traditional, not dichotomy, but that traditional storyline of the popular boy and the nerdy girl kind of getting together. But yeah, I think it's like a cute relationship. It's just like, all right, like I kind of figured that was gonna happen.
Can we say hashtag justice for Barb in the
Yeah,
chat? Come on,
yeah, we'll get Barb and her episode in a little bit, but yeah, justice for Barb in the chat because I know that was a big thing on Twitter. Was justice for Barb, but
I have
when we go,
I just think there should be a little bit of justice. She tried to do the right thing. But, I would just say this. If you're going to bleed in somebody's pool really rudely like that, I think the Demogorgon should come get you because that's gross as shit.
yeah, and so Joyce goes to the police station where we meet Hopper to find her son, and basically they're saying that this hasn't happened in a long time, and that the first instinct is that it's her ex-husband Lonnie who may have taken Will, but they're just like, I don't know, something's happened, where it's like a parent or a relative is usually the first suspect that they look for. They don't look obviously for creepy
Dad of the
crawly.
year goes to Will and Jonathan's dad.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? I think you're getting around to giving him the Dad of the Year award.
No.
At least his as Frank from Always Sunny would say, his whore
Hoover.
whore is was trying to get up on Jonathan there too. Get a little bit of that young meat. Man, I tell you what, that's some white trash if I ever seen it. I'm telling you, man. But that's the way it is. You can't choose your parents, and that's kinda what this route goes through, right?
Mhm,
Joyce is a great person, but she's broken
mhm.
by a lot of things, and this with Will is almost
Mm. I don't know if it was me that dropped or not.
it was
So,
probably me, but don't yell. What did I say? Joyce has drive, but she is a little broken, of course. Who wouldn't be?
mhm. Yeah, especially a single, but basically a single mom raising two boys. Yeah, and in the 80s, probably, even though it was a time of women independence, it's still struggling, obviously. Um, Later in the next episode. Um, but yeah, we see her going to Hopper, and then they pretty much are like they start the plans to try and find Will, and then we
The
have
better question is really quick. What do you think of Hopper? What's your first thoughts of Hopper? Because you haven't. What haven't you seen? You haven't seen past episode 2?
no, I watched I think into episode
And who is it?
3.
Kenny? Poor Kenny? You know, I wanna hear your thoughts on what happened to poor Kenny. Uh,
Benny.
Benny,
Benny.
sorry. Or is it Lenny? Son of a it's one of those Ennies.
It's Benny.
You know what I mean? We'll go eat at Denny's while we talk about Lenny and Denny and, Finny Benny. I don't know. Either way, you know who we're talking about. The, very nice man that's trying to help Eleven. And, well, that's what you get for feeding starving children. You shouldn't try to feed a starving
You
child,
get
right? You
yeah,
know,
you get shot
karma's
by the
a bitch.
government. Um, yeah, I'll probably actually what I'll do is I pretty much have the reaction edited. I might just put it up for the thing, but I'm like the nice man. I think I didn't watch it, but I think it was pretty much like the nice man just got killed by trying to like take care of this little girl. Like this little girl was just like she escaped. She probably was in somewhere crazy, and then she's gets help, and then all of a sudden it's nighttime, and then it's like, well, he just gets killed. I'm like, you killed the nice guy. It's like,
I mean, Papa is such a good father. Speaking of good dads, Papa, come on. How can you not love Papa? Everybody in the chat, what do you think of Papa? Papa, no! Uh, don't you just wanna punch Papa in the nose? Or any myriad of places?
yeah, probably because he's not just probably like entirely because he's just a bad man. Um, and it's like, and he's
Makes a bad man
probably
fly.
yeah, make the bad man fly, mommy. But 11 could do that herself. um, he's probably not her dad. It's probably like some scientific thing that she was just raised to believe that that is her dad. Um, because if she's been in a lab pretty much since she was a baby or like less than a year old, she probably wouldn't remember uh, or notice that he is not her father or something like that. So probably not.
There'll be okay, so spoiler, the end of season 1 is an episode of Maury, Papa and 11. "You are not the father!" That's what we're gonna hear pulled out of the envelope. I spelled it the Latin way. That's just fine. Don't even that's it don't look right that way. With the 2 P's, it actually doesn't even look right. But I could
No.
say Papa and be all country fried like someone who doesn't know how to read. Yeah, Papa is not her papa or papaw.
Papa. I
Oh,
think
you
it's
like
like
Dr.
PAP.
Papa? Okay, maybe I
Not,
don't
but
know.
not, but don't look up Dr. Pimple Popper. I mean,
You can
no.
look it up. Like, actually, a lot of people enjoy watching that, but oh my gosh, it's disgusting.
No. Um, but yeah, he's like a nice man who runs pretty much seemingly the only restaurant in the center, like where in the neighborhood.
Bastard
Besides,
has 2 S's, Peter. I'm being an asshole. I'm a bastard too. The B in Johnny B. Crazy stands for busted.
Well, there's Big Papa Notorious Big. Yeah, like Benny, he's seemingly, like at this point at least, running the only real restaurant in town. It's like Luke's Diner and Gilmore Girls. So for the fact that he's like killed in the first episode is just like what? Um, because that's a huge thing in the second episode. Um, but I mean, he's such a nice man, and he gets killed by the government trying to
Government.
protect the government, trying to protect like 11, and it's just so sad. Um, and we see a flashback.
Well, yeah, and tell me what you thought about Hopper. And then what
Hopper.
flashback you talking about? You talking about closet time? Put a
No,
trap in the closet?
we'll talk about Hopper. I mean, like, is what I assume was the stereotypical town sheriff in the 80s. Like, obviously, because I don't know the 80s at all, because hashtag I was not alive in the 80s. But, like, I assume that's how, like, sheriffs or, like, chiefs were at that, like, in small town and all this stuff. Like, he's good. I mean, he's making, I guess, and assuming valid points, especially for that time period, because Amber Alerts didn't exist at that point in time, and kidnapping stuff wasn't taken as seriously as they are
Yeah,
now.
kids. Well, kids. Like someone was saying earlier, that's when kids roam free. Even I roamed free in the early '90s. Shoot, I was in miles into the woods. We'd live in a subdivision, and I'd walk to some woods somewhere with friends, and we'd be in the woods all damn day.
Yeah.
Katrina Torres, it's okay. I was born in '84, and I'm a whore.
I mean, yeah, like, yeah, that it was just for me, obviously, it's like a different, and for like a lot of people, that was a different time where the kids weren't necessarily worried about too much. But I can understand for her as a mother the fact that he's not home, his friends' parents haven't seen him, like, and she doesn't know she wants to even contact her ex-husband. So it's like, yeah, it's completely understandable that that Joyce is like acting that way to him, and he's kind of reacting in a way that's stereotypical of the times. Is like not to take it too seriously. Um, but yeah, like, I mean, he's doing his job, and it's just the fact that I don't know if it's now or if it's later in this episode where he mentions that he had lost his daughter, but there's like that factor too, where that takes into account as well as like him as a parent, because we see him take on this more seriously once um, he realizes like the gravity of being remembered about losing a child.
Would it be safe to say that maybe it's a similar situation? Or, yeah, the whole losing of the child. And I think there's a few scenes here where there's a lot of alcohol in the scene. Seems to be trying to mask some pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that will play out. Of course, I can't get into it too much. I don't want to spoil you too much, but it is a very good story. I love Hopper's story.
Mm-hmm.
It does invoke some feelings, and well, like Steve, you feel a little indifferent sometimes at first, especially.
Yeah, because that's probably like something he tried to bury down, and just the fact that there's a new missing kid who's now in town, that just probably just not, it's not the same situation, but it obviously sparks um, this similar like fear of not being in control of where your child is, even though they're at that age where they want to be out of your control almost. But um
I don't know. Whatever. Do you like 11? What do you think about 11? I mean, like, oh my
I mean,
god. Do you see her haircut? It is so new wave and Vogue.
I mean, I've seen all of like the videos and the not the videos, like all the things on Twitter about 11 and how 11 is so cool and all these other things. And yeah, she's the she's really cool. Like the fact that there's this person that seemingly could exist, like in this present time in 2019, but the fact that they have it where she's like living that way in that time period is pretty cool. Like, I mean, is she like a Cylon, and that's the 11th version of like kind of thing as a joke. Shout out to PSG.
Cylon Johns and Jills. Check them out every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. The podcast just dropped today. It's me and John St. Baptise talking about Cylons, glowing spines, and skin jobs. Find out what skin jobs are. You got to tune in to the Cylon Johns and Jills, and it may not be as nefarious as you think.
But yeah, just the fact that she has 11 tattooed on her wrist, it leads me to believe that this isn't the first child that they've had that is capable of her skill, so to speak. That there's probably been more before, and there may be more afterwards. I mean, but they probably won't go into it too much, but I'm just assuming that she's not the only one, because why would they start with 11 if she was the first one? That's what I'm.
I'm assuming they're numbered for experimental purposes. And, Peter Griffin is mulling over what skin jobs are in his mind. Peter Griffin, if you've ever seen Blade Runner, the original one, you'll know what a skin job is. That's a hint I'll give you. Classic movie. I believe it came out in 1984 or 83. But that is one of the best sci-fi movies of all time, in my opinion. The original Blade Runner. And Do Androids Dream of the Electric Sheep is the book. You have to check that out too.
Oh, Dylan, no, you're not. You're not too late. We've been just talking about the first episode, because we're talking about both today. Yeah, I mean, she's got obviously some special powers because she stopped the fan and everything. So, and the government officials chasing after her near the end. So, I mean, yeah,
She wouldn't let Lucas out that door.
I mean, she wouldn't. And also too with she also messes with a fan. She messes with and the radio as well, because the music on the radio, I guess, was bothering her or something, so she like turns it off. So, I mean, if you had those kind of powers, you'd be like, I'm so cool. And obviously, when the boys,
Well, she doesn't have any type of social. She's not socialized whatsoever. So she's not even thinking in those standards. She's just kind of there, and you can see it. She's trying to learn on the fly what it is to even kind of be human. I don't know what that noise is. I'll be back.
okay.
It's beeping.
Oh no. So, because I'm now by myself, what do you all in the chat think about like 11? When you first kind of saw 11, because she's mysterious compared to the boys, and everybody else on the show. Yeah, like for me, 11 is home. I guess so. Peter Griffin 11 probably. Well, she was raised in
A closet.
closet.
Yes, 11. There is a temple of egos built It's kind of a shrine to 11. She doesn't know about it though. She'll
I think
find out about it in season 3, fandom. You have to check that out. She will climb the magic Ego Mountain. She will then pull the sword from the Ego and become the champion of the realm. Lightning will flash down and strike the sword, and she'll have a new hairdo, be called electricity, and she'll look like powder from that movie. She'll become like really milky white. She'll be able to see the future. Yeah, has anybody seen that movie Powder? Oh my gosh, that's a crazy movie. You have to check that out if you haven't seen it. Powder. He like gets struck by lightning or something. His mom gets struck by lightning when he's born. Yeah, it's like these weird powers or something. I don't know. He's albino, and it's like overly done. It's pretty good though. It's an interesting movie for sure.
Yeah,
It's not Powder. I don't understand. It's interesting. There's a lot of stuff to laugh at in it though, but it's not.
and I wonder
The movie
too.
was so made fun of though. That's what's funny because it was really made fun of when it came out.
I wonder too, like with like 11 and the whole egos, because that comes next episode. But I wonder how much the stock in egos like went up, or how much egos were sold out at the stores once egos became like a thing, because I think they like kind of not died off, but like no one was really talking about them up until like when this obviously came out, and like it just everybody just wanted to start talking about them. So now there's probably Stranger Things watch parties where everybody just eats egos, especially if you start at like 8 o'clock in the morning or midnight for some people, and just like eat all the egos.
I would say there's bloodbaths over the last Eggo left at those parties as well. The never-ending story. Falcor, Katrina Torres. Falcor, the creepy dog. I swear that dog was into Atreyu. That was like if you go back and watch Falcor now, it's kind of creepy the way he talks to Atreyu. It's so creepy. He's like, and his eyebrows go up and down. Yes,
The dragon thing?
yeah. Remember how creepy Falcor was? I made Salsa watch Never Ending Story.
The
Thank you
dog
for
and
bringing
dragon.
that up, Katrina.
The
Falcor.
the dog dragon. Not like Rogan. Not that dragon.
No, this is more of a Japanese style dragon. The long, snaky, cylindrical dragons. And yes, some dragons look like dogs in Japanese folklore. So that's not really that far off.
But yeah, we'll have to probably eat egos for when we talk about the first. I can't eat egos specifically, but we can eat frozen waffles when we talk about the new season, probably.
Oh my god. That's one of the funniest scenes in a movie ever. Me, myself, and Irene. His nose is broken and he's whistling every time he's breathing and then walking. Oh my gosh, you guys are giving me something. That's one of my favorite movies ever. That and Ace Ventura 2. I don't know why I love that movie so much. But when the fake rhino gives birth to
Oh no!
and you must be the Monopoly guy.
We're going into like,
Pass go. Do not collect $200.
oh no!
Oh my goodness. My god. I'm lost now because I'm just thinking about all this funny parts
So
in the movie.
now we get we see Hopper like and them finding Will's bike being abandoned at the side of the road, which is obviously like a very not stereotypical, but that's like usually a sign that a child has been taken, with the bike being lost at the side of the road. Obviously, we know.
Especially in movies and cinema, the bike's there. Oh shit, what did happen now? But usually around the neighborhood, it's just someone left a bike. There's a lazy kid. Is usually what it is. I don't know. I got the giggles now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. And yeah, so they find out that just the bike's at the end of the road, and then Joyce is trying to call Lonnie, but obviously the girlfriend picks up, and then there's like fighting, so to speak. But Joyce doesn't give a crap about that, and the cops come to the house and try to look for any clues just to see if Will was there before he had disappeared. Um, and they start a search party. Um, and yeah, like they finally gotten to the point where they need a search party. Um, and then we go back to. Do you want to finish with the? Never mind. We'll go to.
Don't yell at me. So don't yell at me.
Mike and the family at the dinner table, and Mike wants to go looking for Will, and Nancy wants to go study at Barb's house. But then Mike reveals that Steve is Nancy's boyfriend. Um, the dad in this, I'm just like, it's the disinterested father, like usually the typical of
Well,
80s.
he's not getting which dad?
Mike's dad.
Mike's dad? Yeah, he's not getting laid anymore. His job is depressing him. And he has no way to get away except to kind of just go into Spaceland when he's at home. I mean, it's like one of those. Everybody's seen one of these dads. If you haven't had one, you've seen one, and they just don't care. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going mosh pitting. Okay, whatever. They're not even listening to what you're saying. They just want you to go away so they can think about whatever fantasy land they're in at the time. But yeah. Broken
Yeah.
Bird says, "What's up, Broken Bird?" Says, "Totally typical for dads in the '80s," and that's pretty true. That's pretty
Yeah.
true. If your dad was there, shout out to bastards everywhere.
Homeboy is so disconnected. He's still AF. Yeah, because what I remember from that dining room scene is because he says something, and then all the kids and everybody gets up from the table, and he's like, "What did I do?" It's like, come on, because all the kids like run away from the table,
He's
and
thinking about that new issue of Jugs he has hiding under the bed. That's his only getaway. It's his
or he's the
issues of
energy,
pornographic magazines.
or
Oh,
as Doris Wench just said, he's the energy vampire.
oh my god. Oh, get bet. I think we do need to talk about what we do in the shadows for sure, and have an original vampire actually on the panel in John St. Baptiste for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
maybe we do that after, because by that time probably the season will be over, so we can always do what we do in the shadows
We'll have
after.
to talk about that. Yes, Dornish Winch. It is a fantastic show. I love it. I love it. And John St. Baptiste is a vampire. Okay, if you watch that show, you come watch Cylon Johns. You watch him on my channel. John St. Baptiste is a vampire, and I'm an energy vampire. You'll see me at Con of Thrones. I'll be at the while everybody's on the panel. I'll be sucking the energy from the room. Okay, that's what I do. All right. Guillermo,
Guillermo.
get me my virgin.
Yeah, Phantom D states that an issue of what? So you have to explain what you.
Everybody's like, well, I thought we were supposed to be talking about Stranger Things. Okay.
Broken Bird says they volunteer as a vampire tribute.
We should hold an energy vampire panel. Yes. Yeah. Well, what we do is we just sit around and we tell you about these really odd things. Did you know grass grows at least 1 nanometer every hour? On the hour, if you sit there and watch grass, it will actually grow in 2 weeks. You can see it grow about 3/4 of an inch. you'll be happy with yourself. And then if it's summertime in a tropical area, you can see grass grow feet in weeks. I mean, if you just stand there, and it's really beautiful. I'm sucking up all the energy from everybody in the chat right now.
Interview with vampire. But yeah, they have the search party for Will, and they
It may be me, or Sasa may have dropped. But if you're here with me, tell me if Sasa dropped or not. It might just be on my end. But I think she's frozen in a state of perpetual motion, whatever that means. I just throw around words. Interview with the energy vampire. Yes, I will love it. I will love it. Don't understand probably is a vampire. And she is gone. So we can talk a little bit about the progression of Steve and Nancy, this couple that's supposed to be, I guess it's going to be your mainstay couple, is what you're thinking. But then you have the Creeper Jonathan dynamic, right? And is Jonathan going to get to. Yeah, Sasa's not here, so I can say it. Jonathan's going to get lucky. And maybe it's just a misunderstanding. I argue he should have took a few more pictures. I'm just kidding. It was a little crazy, but he was trying to find his brother, right? You would do anything to find your little brother. If you loved your siblings, you would do anything to find your little brother. And, he was there at the crime scene, so to speak. And I would be questioning Steve at that point. Does Steve take my little brother? Because it's pretty damn close to his house. That would be one thing that was crossing my mind. Definitely not a monster in my head. Not at this point in time, but Steve's a likely suspect to Jonathan. Maybe. I mean, it is really close to his house. And hey, unfortunately, in real life, that happens a lot.
I'm back, everyone. Sorry,
Yeah, I
I
just
dropped.
started talking about stuff. So we were talking about the Steve and Nancy dynamic. You think they're going to stay together? What do
No,
you see with that? And what do you see with the Creeper Jonathan? You see him getting in there anyway?
uh,
Brett said, I hated Steve so much at the time. Agree. Completely agree.
I think I saw. Yeah, this was a year ago, or whenever the second season was around, and I know people were talking about Jonathan and Nancy, because this is at the point where I didn't know if I wanted to watch this show. Yeah, this was over a year ago now, maybe 2017, and I guess that's when it came out. I can't remember, but I know that there's something, but that people do ship Jonathan and Nancy. I mean, I'm not surprised if it happens because Steve is a little bit of not crazy, but he's just like, I don't know. She'll be like it's almost like, I know this is really bad to compare this show to Twilight, but it's literally like jumping back and forth, and then she ultimately will pick somebody and stay with that person. But I feel like she will obviously be with Steve for like a little bit, and then something will happen where she'll have this more of a like a relationship will sort of develop with Jonathan, but it won't be like too quote unquote romantic yet. Anyway, but yeah. Like I
Oh, yeah,
haven't.
and Broken Birds, we're talking just the first 2 episodes of the first season. I've seen it, but Mackenzie hasn't. That's why
I'll
when she dropped, I busted out a spoiler, and then I had to
try,
set her up with the question.
but I
You know,
mean, I'll try and catch up after Saturday so that we don't have to be uh spoilery all the time. I'll try and catch up for Saturday so we're not too um or whenever we do the second part of this for 3 and 4. But I'll try and catch up so we don't have to be too spoilery because or not spoilery, because I know this show has a lot of fans. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like she'll have like a very much of a connection to Jonathan because of what happens with Barb, and because of her whole thing with her brother and Will.
Do you
That
think
dynamic.
Jonathan should have ran and jumped in the water? I mean, come on. But I
Not,
wouldn't have jumped in there. There's blood in there. Ooh,
no.
gross. I'm I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
because
such an
this.
asshole.
Ooh, hold on. This. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like all right, but there's just all the sound in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. Um, I mean, yeah, like Jonathan, he wants to find some friends because obviously he's a high school graduate because he's obviously not going to that school anymore where everybody else is. So I mean, he's just trying to find some friends. He's making his way in the world, and all of a sudden his brother goes missing, and it just more or less for the two of them, for Nancy and Jonathan, it's almost shared. It's basically shared trauma, so to speak, as of right now. So, yeah, excuse me. What did you think, obviously, about that dynamic in the very beginning, if you can remember anyway?
What dynamic?
Jonathan, Nancy, Steve.
Oh, yeah, I kinda touched on it while you were away. I did, like you said, it's kind of the classic setup. What's she doing with that douchebag, basically, and what the hell's Jonathan doing in the bushes? I wish my name wasn't Jonathan right now, but there's not a. It's set up for something to be there, right? There's gonna be some type of contention, love story, love triangle. You always have that set up in just about every single plot in the history of time has some sort of love triangle, even back before Shakespeare, I'm sure. So this is your classic deal, but the way you get there, that's kind of how you tell the story. You got to get to that moment, and we're seeing it build to that. But what will it be? Will it just be a friend? Will Steve prevail while Johnson's on the outside? Will Steve be on the outside? Will one of them die? There's a lot of things that could happen here that can affect the story that they could do that I can't tell you because I get to practice this all the time on Cylon Johns. But you know, no, I'm not in a Christmas tree, Peter Griffin, with a camera. I can't even afford a camera actually. Except this one I have duct taped to my wall. And yes, this one's duct taped to my wall. I should give y'all a picture of it, but I gotta rig stuff up, man. It is what it is.
That's
I am
fine.
not saving that for content. Yeah, no. don't, don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
And DA is in the chat. One of the best mods around is in the
Hey,
chat.
is it your birthday today, DA?
I think so, because everybody's wishing him happy birthday. So happy birthday, or if we were in Westeros, happy name day,
Happy
DA.
birthday, you old bastard.
And
Hopefully you're not as old as I am. Hopefully the hairline is still strong with you, brother.
Peter Griffin says duct tape saves lives.
Oh, where am I from, Broken Birds? I'm from Australia. Can't you tell?
No,
I'm
he's
from
not.
Alabama. Alabama. I'm from Alabama, y'all. Look, man, I know this person named Boomhire. He has got one of them things and pull it over there. But I do not drink Dane and Steve. Woohoo! Yep.
He'll get them laughing in the chat in a second. But yeah, we get the whole thing with Steve and like, let me help you study kind of thing, and it's just like, ugh, you already know, like this has just been about kind of a situation. So yeah, it's a little bit of like a, but I mean, we'll get to talk about Jonathan and Nancy and the rest of the teenagers in a little bit. But yeah, basically, the boys go on their mission, and I don't know why they're all talking now in the background. It's really bothering me. But um, they basically they go to the restaurant where Benny works and go and try to get 11, and they kill Benny. Um, they shoot him, which I'm kind of surprised because I thought we'll talk about this obviously in the next episode because that's when they find him. But it's like they shoot him in a way that it looked like he was shot, but then they make it look like he shot himself, which is really weird. And then the boys go look for Will, and then they come across 11, which woo.
I'm
But
breathing into the mic. Apologize about that. I thought I was muted. It's in here. Hello,
I didn't
everyone.
hear it. I didn't hear it, so you're probably
Myself here.
you're
Oh,
probably good.
mistake.
Um,
Welcome,
and
Tony Chicago. How's it going?
yeah,
How are you
hi
doing?
everybody. Yeah, it's awesome for everybody in the chat. And yeah, they find the girl, they find 11. But the last kind of thing is Jonathan and Joyce, and this is where we realize that Jonathan likes to take pictures.
Can I just say something really quick? My name's
go ahead.
Jonathan. My grandmother's name is Joyce. I just think there's a lot of my uncle's name is Steve. Like there's a lot of funny things about this show. Like every name in the show, there's someone that's close in my family that has the same damn name. It's odd. But go ahead.
Yeah, and Tony Chicago is happy that he shouted her out. But yeah, they find the picture that they want to use for Will's missing flyers. And then they receive the static phone call, which ruins the family phone. And that's just so devastating because phones, and at least though that doesn't really happen anymore, or wouldn't maybe happen anymore with phones. That's kind of where we leave the episode, is with the boys finding 11 instead of finding Will. So I know this is weird, but do you want to rate episode what now or at the very end when we have our sign off?
When we ever sign off, what are we doing? Some kind of broken record. That's what I am. I'm a broken record. I don't even know what I was gonna say. This has been really fun though. What was we talking about? The chat has me lost. Sorry.
If you wanted to rate the episode now or if at the very end.
These first two pretty good. I would rate the second one around an 8 and the first one around a 9. I would give them yeah, I say
Oh no.
Did. Hey, Peter Griffin Peanuts.
Oh no.
And let's see.
Wait, don't give me your full rating for episode 2 yet, because we'll do that. It was just the rating for episode 1. So it's a 9.
Episode 1. Wait, what did we just do one episode? What happened here?
No, we're gonna do Weirdo. That's what I was saying. If you wanted to rate both of the first one now, or both of them at the very end when we do our sign off.
I guess the very end. I've been talking about a lot of stuff in the second episode the whole time, so
It's okay.
I've been talking about them as a whole. Anyway,
but yeah, so the second episode is The Weirdo on Maple Street. And yes, we kind of sprinkled in parts of this episode from before, but they find 11 and they bring her into the house, and she knows about Will, and that yeah, we find about.
it's okay.
Huh?
She find out about Will A.
She find out about Will, and we've got yeah, just the fact that 11 knows, or at least knows from a picture who Will is, it just kind of makes me go, huh? So it's like she either saw him or she has this like sense for him, which comes, I'm assuming, later. But yeah, I mean, like, it, because the boys, like, this is where we realize that 11 has actual powers. For like other kids realize that she has actual powers, and it's will they use it to their advantage? Probably so, against the bullies from the last episode. And what was, yeah, there's Joyce and Hopper. I mean, those two have an interesting dynamic. I know it probably doesn't happen, but they would be just, they're like that nice, like, like, they don't have to have obviously a romantic pairing or anything, but they're like a nice adult pairing that just goes together and does things. I mean, like, because their dynamic is so interesting, and it's like it's matched, but which is kind of awesome.
Well, they have a common bond through the prism of pain, which is sad, tragic, but it ends up kind of a beautiful tragedy so far. We'll see where it goes from here. I think that it's going to be difficult for both of them. They both had a tough time with love. They both lost children right now. One is permanently lost. The other still has hope, and that's a dynamic that could be rife with conflict, especially if one person, like Hopper, if he's, a little more pessimistic. Not a good thing. Not saying he will be, but there's a lot of stuff that could go there. So
Yeah, and yeah, they just got that common bond, and it's really established in this episode, and obviously will carry on throughout. And this is also in this episode, we're obviously introduced with 11 to Eggos, which are her new favorite food. I mean, frozen waffles would be my favorite food if I was when I was like 11. It was my favorite food, and I mean, she's still being hidden, obviously, from Mike's parents, which is obviously a bad thing, but a good thing because the government is obviously after anybody or any adult who knows about 11, which can't wait to figure that out once they get to 11 and when the government actually figures out where 11 is, so on and so forth. But yeah, we get Barb, and then the big thing is we lose, quote unquote, Barb in this episode, because Nancy wants to go to a party at Steve's house with Steve's friends, and I mean, it's a 4-person party or 5-person party. How much fun could that actually be? It just proves that either Steve has no friends or
hey, that's more fun. That's the intimate part. That's more fun than the big party you got to clean up after. Jeez Louise. Maybe Steve doesn't like an audience when he wants to get jiggy with it.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But it's just a little bit of a okay, he's supposed to be, I guess, a popular person, but why does he not want to have at least a bigger party?
He didn't want people to see him with Nancy. I don't know. He's a teenager. How the hell am I supposed to know what he's thinking? I can only guess. He's got so many hormones running through his body that he's just a raging hormone right now.
Yeah.
You see it with his hair. It grows an inch every time it cuts from one scene to the other, and it goes back to Steve. His hair has grown. Just watch it.
Ozila says it's not a party. He wanted to party. LOL. Yeah. And they all decide to chug beer, but it's that one-way shotgunning beer. And obviously, Barb cuts her hand. Like, duh. Almost like everybody else doesn't cut their hand while they do it.
How do I do this? Do I just put the sharp point on the end of my finger and stab, right?
I mean, just so
Also,
stupid.
if you're ever gonna shotgun a beer, just use a car key. It won't cut you, and it works just as good.
I won't ever have that opportunity, but I can't.
They have gluten-free beer now, so dig it.
I've never had beer to begin with, so it'll be interesting. Maybe that'll happen if I get gluten-free beer. I might do that at con. Who knows? But yeah, we also see Jonathan and his crazy photo taking skills, but don't be making fun of Johnny. AU was in the chat with us. Yeah, we get Barb, and I think the reason why she was kind of
Don't flinch. You're where Barb went. Barb, are you okay? Tell us what the upside down looks like, Barb. Oh, wait. Are you playing with me, Don't Switch? Don't play with my emotions. Now we're trying to get Barb back. Barb is missing, and you're gonna say you're Barb? You need to tell me if you're Barb or not.
Well, I think Barb, the reason why Barb left, quote unquote, the show was because she went on Riverdale. Another show. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess Riverdale paid better, but I don't know. But yeah, something
It's
took Barb.
cold. Very descriptive.
Huh?
Don't Switch said it's cold. Barb is cold.
Barb is
cold.
Barb's cold. Bob is cold. It's like
I'm dead inside. I love it. I love it. I started a couple of streams saying that people asked me how I'm doing. I said I'm dead inside.
I have become an energy vampire. Broken Birds. I watched the first 2 seasons. It was okay. This third season is like has their own version of Dungeons and Dragons, and it's called Griffins and Gargoyles, but it's like really dark. I haven't really caught up to it. Like I watched a couple of episodes, but yeah. What's everybody like? Because Johnny had to step away for a second. So, but thinking of Stranger Things at least, or up until this point, because I know it's not. We can't go too far, but we're gonna obviously go a little bit more on this weekend, probably Saturday. But yeah, it'll be a good time. I gotta go through it because how we have it planned out while Johnny's gone. How we have Stranger Things mapped out is we're going to be doing 2 episodes 2 times a week. So Saturday should be 3 and 4. I can't remember the names of the episodes right now. Holly Jolly and The Body will be on Saturday time, maybe early afternoon, for some of our European friends to join us. So we'll be doing that next, and then next Wednesday will be 5 and 6. So yeah, we're gonna go through kind of not lightning speed, but just fast enough so that we are prepared and finished up until when the new season drops. So, and I mean, yeah, it'll be a good time. I think my only real kind of thing I don't think we necessarily covered is like all of 11's stuff within the labs. I mean, she's having flashbacks to, I guess, treatment that she's been having, and it's seemingly dark forms of treatment. And I'm excited to see where that goes. I mean,
I
not
would say
excited.
she's experienced neglect at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, she's going through some stuff, and it's just kind of being pulled out of it flashes me back to other things. And I mean, I hope in some shape or form she's able to not like necessarily get over it, but at least know how to deal with it in the outside world. But yeah, um, but yeah, Barb. I don't know if Barb is if like how the story would have been or would be with her character still around, because I don't know if she's still around because of the whole Justice for Barb thing. But yeah, so I know we kind of talked about both episodes around the same time, which kind of means we've have nothing really else to talk about. But if there's anything you want to bring up, John.
Well, I'll just kind of chit chat a bitty bat a little bit about everything that has comprised here. We have a little girl that has gone, what you would say, has escaped. We have a boy gone missing at the same place as where they showed up. It's very tragic right from the beginning. The downfall of the parents, the siblings, the friends having to go through this to hurt. It even is portrayed so well, it makes you remember the loved ones you have lost, or even if you've lost a child, a brother, or just in the store. Think of how scary that shit is, and then to man, accentuate it with a creepy monster that my best guess is the Demogorgon's just a creep, just that creepy uncle. That's I'm joking. No, the Demogorgon is just a representation of evil here. Something that's scary to bring them together.
Mhm.
I still think he is. You know, he does take little children, and I don't like that. But what is his motivations? Is it a based animal? I can't tell you. And do we ever really find out for sure? Kind of. There's some interesting anatomy of what's going on in the upside down and the organisms within it. And that's something that's exciting to see, and it's not overbearing. The fear of the unknown, they keep in this, right? They
Mhm.
keep the fear of the unknown up, and that's what's good. You don't get too much of anything, right?
Yeah, no, we just you kind of get bits and pieces for right now. As Peter Griffin says, this is Uncle Demogorgon. But there's some funny things in the chat. I think everybody talking about Barb. Um, let's face it, Nancy isn't a very good friend. She straight up ditched Barb to get tea. I mean, yeah. Uh, Nancy, she just wanted to, I guess, get it over with because Steve was her boyfriend for maybe, what, a day? And then she's like, hey, let me get to it. Um,
Yep. Hey, Barb. Like you said when we were watching, hey, Barb, don't let me do nothing stupid. Barb, I'm about to do something stupid. Shut the hell up, okay? Just get out of here, Barb. You cut your finger. I peer pressured you. That made you feel unwelcome, welcome, then unwelcome again. I'm a great friend. Don't you see this? Shut the hell up, Barb, and get out of here. And this is why Nancy will get struck down by lightning in the next episode.
and then it's like, people are talking about, yeah, OTS is right. If any of my girls pull that, hell no, I'm out. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Nancy, like, oh yeah, she's like probably at heart, but at the same time, she was probably just like, let me just have some. But then she's like lying to her mom, where she's like, oh, we're going to the event at the high school for Will. It's just like, but the school where he's at doesn't have an event for him, and probably until much later because they haven't had one yet. like the day of him going missing, that they'd be like, maybe we should have like a thing about like stranger danger or something. I don't know.
They didn't give nothing about that back then. They put cigarettes out on kids' foreheads if they were bad in school back then. So no, man. No, honestly, you would get this. They had these big ass paddles with holes in them to stop wind resistance. That shit hurts. They stopped corporal punishment, but that's a big deal. Hey, you 80s babies, y'all remember them paddles in school, don't you? The corporal punishment, you go to the office to see the vice principal or the coach has one. Sometimes even some of the teachers had their own damn paddles, and they would divvy out that corporal punishment then. Sometimes I think they enjoyed this, these freaks in the sheets, being teachers here. But, you know, it all goes back to creeps in the end. I don't know. That was crazy, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen that. How many, just paddles back in school. My
Mhm.
mom had to threaten them. That she would basically kill them if they paddled me after, I think, the first time I got paddled. It was funny.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, there's some. I don't know. Like, I've never obviously had to experience that, but I can only sympathize. Tawny Chicago says that Nancy is like Sansa in the first couple of seasons. Very interesting. And Sheila says, right now Nancy sucks at all of her relationships, in my opinion, but she gets less annoying. All right.
They are still kids, kind of. Depends
They
whether
never.
you're in Westeros or not.
So, did they ever state what grade Nancy's in? 10, 11?
Mm, maybe 9. I was. I think her and John. They might be. It might be 10th, but it's. I know that they're not seniors. Steve may be a grade ahead. I can't remember exactly. No, they're like 10. They're like in 10th grade because
Hmm.
I think. Whatever. We'll find out by the next one.
Yeah, we'll be sure unless someone in the chat.
Trying to remember 14 books and 5 shows in my head.
They'll probably tell us
Sometimes I mess
in
up.
the chat if they rewatched or they remember. Is Blood Raven's Cave Hawkins' lab?
It's actually under Hawkins' lab. Yeah, that little tunnel, the little sewer drain. That's actually where Hodor held the door. Little known fact: Hodor is a hobbit, and he really wasn't 8 foot tall. Hodor was a hobbit, and humans were just really small back then. They were small hobbits. And their unit of measure, even though it was called a foot, their feet were tiny. So 7 foot person, right?
Johnny is a mess. What did you say, John? Johnny Chicago wants you to read.
He can rewind it, I guess.
I mean, yeah, like for right now, I really enjoyed the show. Like, it's not as scary as I thought it would be because I'm not a very good person with scary things. It's not like my forte or genre when it comes to TV and movies and stuff like that. Maybe the Demogorgon is Drogon. Yeah, Drogon gone rogue is the Demogorgon. Without his mommy. Without
Mommy.
without Khaleesi.
Where are my dragons? You don't want to know.
They're in the Upside Down.
I was thinking Catelyn Dornish. Thinking Catelyn. Peter Griffin. Yeah, I mean, the things that get me as far as scary are realistic scenarios. And for some reason, like a good demon possession movie, even though they're being overdone these days. Go watch. Why can't I think of the movie right now? Why is it eluding me? What's
What?
the stupid famous possession movie that I can't think of? Oh my gosh. The best
Paranormal
movie ever.
Activity?
No! This is way old. It's based on a true story, and damn it, the reason I can't think of it. This is embarrassing. I can't think of this movie.
Uh, so
Uh, oh my gosh.
Nancy, Otila says that Nancy's 16 in season 1 and 17 in season 2. Thank you, Nancy. So, not thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Otila. Um,
I
uh,
don't know why I can't remember that stupid movie. It's this the possession movie with Linda. What's the name of her in it? Head spins around. It's like come out in the 70s or 80s. Uh, Linda Blair's in it. I can't think of the movie. I keep wanting to say Poltergeist, but it's older than that.
you'll have to like make a comment or something if you remember.
The Exorcist. Son of a bitch. It's The Exorcist. What am I so? I'm so stupid. It's The Exorcist. It's a movie about an exorcism. It's literally called The Exorcist because I'm stupid. But yeah. Anyways, that's a scary movie.
Now they're all like,
Yeah, they get it at the same time I get it. But see, like I wasn't helping myself. You guys are smart. I'm stupid.
Well, since we've kind of talked about the 2 episodes, is there anything? I don't think. Is there any questions that the chat has? I know I won't be able to really answer them, unless it's related to the 1st or 2nd episode. If not, we will wrap up.
Little known fact: Peter Griffin. That's the first music he learned to play on the piano. Yes, his name is also Damien. He's the child from those scary movies. Yes, only Damien would learn that as their first song on the piano. He was a devil spawn.
The devil. The devil.
So, I guess don't forget to come check it out on my channel Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking about Empire of Ash, the prequel that's coming out. There's actually the show Bible has come out on it. We have 3 factions of Valyrians. We will get to see Aenys the Dreamer, Aenys the Exile, and Daenys the Dreamer. And there's a lot of stuff there. You will be no one talks shit about my friends, not even themselves. Thank you, Attila. I think you're gonna be very excited. Yes, we have Blood Moon, blah blah blah. This is the one I'm excited about, Empire of Ash, and the Dragon Demands, who is the knowledge person who helps write the Game of Thrones wiki. I actually got the leaked Bible for this, and if you haven't seen his channel, go check it out. It's called The Dragon Demands, and it's really good. So we're gonna talk about that Friday. There's a lot of stuff in the books, and it's super exciting. So I'm very excited about it. So with that, I'm excited about Stranger Things too. I'm excited about The Expanse. I'm excited about Legion coming up. I swear, I think I made myself do too much, but who gives a shit at this point? Let's just keep going.
Yeah, Tony Chicago, Twilight, especially the first movie, just like not me, not for me. But like the Twilight is just some part of Twilight.
Tony Chicago said Twilight still scares me. And
but the Twilight Zone.
I know, but that's funny because I was trying to think. I was like, man, what part about Twilight scares her?
Well, for me,
think of a legitimate thing.
Well, the one scene that freaks the shit out of me is the one in the ballet studio where she like broke her knee or her ankle or her.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, that still freaks me out. Like I can't watch Twilight. It's like because it came out for me when I was in 8th grade. No, 6th grade, maybe 7th grade. Can't remember now. But something.
The clown was a G. He was my hero, and then like I would dream he would fight Pennywise to the death. Hey, Bozo was the defender against Pennywise the clown for me. We're going nostalgic as hell. See, this is what Stranger Things does, right? It
Makes
takes
you
you back
go,
to the
"Hmm."
olden days.
And I think,
Tony Chicago said, I feel so old. Everybody, we've been all saying that all night, except for Mackenzie, who's only 22. But enjoy it while you can. You'll be 50 before you know it. Oh
yeah,
yeah, I don't want to see that mosh. No, man, I don't know about that. Plus, I knew moms like that in high school. Be like, hey, you want to come party at my house? And then you'd wake up and you're tied up. You got a brick between your ankles, and then she gets a sledgehammer out and goes misery on you. Has anybody seen Misery? I think you might.
what are
That
you doing?
I don't know. I'm just throwing out stuff here.
Yeah, they're just going on nostalgic. I think when I was watching these episodes, I was like, I really want waffles. I obviously didn't have waffles, but I'm like, I really want waffles. So then I think I made pancakes. Yeah, I made pancakes because I'm like, I can't have waffles, so I'll make the next best thing, pancakes. But yeah, so Johnny, I know you said what you're doing on your channel, and kind of Cylon Johns, which is on Friday. So,
Yeah.
we've got on so for this channel, for my channel, coming up on Saturday. I think I have it put at sometime on Saturday around, because it's hard to tell if people are streaming or not still, on extra days and so on and so forth. So it'll be on Saturday midday for us here, so we can still have some of, like I said, when you left, some people, others, to come and join us. But we'll be going over episode 3 and 4, and then when this same time next week, 5 and 6, and so on and so forth. As well, I'll probably have some other videos sprinkled in, probably my reaction to this episode. Will drop probably tomorrow or something like that, because might as well put it up even though it's old. And some other videos. Yeah, Patreon. I don't know if anybody from here is of my Patreon, but I will be putting up the poll for the special stream for the month. We might have to move the butt stream until right before con, based off of if we can sneak in a special day to do the butt stream. That may be our pre-con stream. But I will be doing that. So we may have a special different stream that comes out this month. You can find updates like that on Facebook or on Patreon, Twitter, and where all that fun stuff. Yeah, I got some stuff in the works, still stuff that has to be worked out, but I'm so excited to start a new series. If you haven't and you're new to the channel, we covered from August 28th of last year up until obviously 2 weeks ago, we covered every episode of Game of Thrones. So
Good God.
we went hard, and literally from January, we basically did at least 1 or 2 episodes of Game of Thrones a week. It was crazy, but it was so much fun. So if there is a favorite episode of Game of Thrones that you like, we most definitely covered it. It might have been a live stream or a podcast. Just depends on which one you want.
Try it out. Be the try it out guy.
Be able to try it out, and yeah, it'll be so much fun, because that's basically what we're doing here. Is if you're new here, we're basically just talking about an episode of TV in a book club format. So it's not just going to be me and Johnny. There'll be more people showing up. I know AK Alicia Kingston will be joining us at some point. She couldn't make it today, but she'll be joining us, and many more people will join us. It is so much fun to have you on, Johnny. It seems like we're always on either each other's channels or on a channel with each other every week, and I'm excited to do another series of TV with you. It's been so much fun. I can't wait.
Well, I enjoy the patronization, and I do. No, I have a blast. Thank you so much. Thank everybody in the chat. Y'all are awesome. This has been a fantastic hump day. Uh, I can't ask for any more. So yeah.
So, so we will see you all next on Saturday for Holly Jolly and the Body, episodes 3 and 4. Bye, everyone.
Holla.
Finger guns for Danny McKay.
Danny McKay. Pew, 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 pew. He's like, guys, fuck off.
Bye.